Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylee and today we are back on my island Gardenia for a speed build video. I recently made a poll on my channel for everyone to pick the theme of my new island and Rainbow Woodlands won. So today we'll be creating the entrance for a Rainbow Woodland themed island. Thanks to everyone that voted in the poll, and if you want to choose themes and other ideas for my island, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can participate in my future polls. But I'm excited for this build, so let's jump right into it. If you've seen some of my other speed build videos, you know that I like to create a backstory for my islands and builds, and I've been thinking about one for this island. So my plans for Gardenia is to obviously have it as a Rainbow Woodland themed island, but I want you to wake up from your dream and have to walk through like a little hole in the fence in order to transport you to a super colorful forest. And the farther you go into the forest, the more colorful and interesting it becomes. I'm kind of thinking of it as a mix between the Bridge to Terabithia and Alice in Wonderland. But this is the beginning of the island, so I want it to be colorful but a little bit more tame and just basically a colorful forest. But what are some of your favorite Springcore and Forestcore kinds of builds? I have a few build ideas in mind. I kind of want to incorporate a big flower field on this island. Maybe not with all of the colors of the rainbow, as that might be a little overwhelming, but I'm also thinking of adding in a big mushroom forest. I just love the mush parasol and the mush lamp, and you'll actually see them a few times in this build today. But I think a whole section with a bunch of mushroom items would be pretty cool, and probably using some of the Mario mushrooms as well. Those are still awesome items. But if you have other ideas that would work on this island, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I love hearing from you all, and everyone in the AC&H community is just so creative. I just love hearing everyone's ideas. But going back to the build, so far I've laid out the beginning of our pathing and surrounded that with some trees, shrubs, and flowers. My goal for this island is to make it very lush with lots of trees, but I still want it to be walkable with a defined path on where to go. I love super overgrown islands, but sometimes it's hard when the pathing isn't laid out in a very visible way. It's hard for me to know where to go next, and I don't want to miss any builds or areas on my island. So in order to prevent this, I'm using a dirt path for the majority of my island. I will use some flowers and weeds to break up the pathing a bit, but you should still be able to see a general flow of the area. I'm also a little picky when it comes to the type of trees and shrubs I use on my island, so Gardenia will only have hardwood, cedar, and bamboo trees, and then for the shrubs I'm only using hydrangeas, tea olives, azaleas, and hibiscus. I prefer when the bushes aren't in bloom, so I did decide to set this island in September in the southern hemisphere. I also decided on this type of year for two other reasons. One, the trees and the grass are a really nice light green color, and two, there are some sun showers that end with rainbows, and I want to be able to set my dream address with a rainbow in the sky. Also, a bonus reason for why I set my island in the southern hemisphere is so I don't have to deal with Zipper or the bunny day. I already have to deal with my villagers getting in my way while I'm building, so I don't need a man in a bunny costume also getting in my way. But this is a pretty long video, and other than placing down some trees and shrubs, I feel like I don't have a whole lot to talk about during this video, so I'm going to properly introduce myself on YouTube by answering a few questions about myself. But question number one, and we're starting off with a pretty simple one: who am I? Well, my name is Kaylee and I'm 25 years old, I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm just someone who loves playing Animal Crossing. Question 2, why did I start a YouTube channel? One of my New Year's resolutions was to be more creative, and last year I started sharing some of my Animal Crossing builds on my Instagram, so to challenge myself a little bit more this year, I decided to start filming and sharing my builds from Animal Crossing on YouTube. And it's been really amazing so far. I'm still getting used to all of the editing and I'm trying to learn new techniques, but it's been super fun and a good challenge. I also just love Animal Crossing, so it gives me more reasons to keep playing. What do I do for work? Well, I'm actually a nurse, and I've worked in the hospital before on a surgical PCU floor and an orthopedic trauma floor, but a little bit before COVID, I discovered floor nursing wasn't really for me. It was really hard for me to deal with the patient death, so I did move to a more administrative position for nursing, doing utilization review for orthopedic procedures. What is my dream job? I think if I were to go back to school, I would probably go back to be an elementary school art teacher. I really love art, and I took a bunch of art classes throughout my school life, and it was a really big part of my life for a while, and I love kids, so I think the combination of art and kids would be super fun for me. What is my favorite song? I actually have a few right now. One is Jay's Lullaby by Delaney Bailey, the second is Stick Seasons by Noah Kahan, and the third is Follow You by Bring Me the Horizon. They are all very different, but I do like them for different reasons. What is my favorite show? Well, I think my all-time favorite show is probably The Office. I just love how stupid the show is, and whenever I'm in a bad mood, I'll just sit there and watch compilations of the cold opens. And then a few other shows I'm watching right now that I'm really enjoying. One is super obvious, and that's The Last of Us. I'm also really enjoying the show Ghosts. And then I'm very impatiently waiting for the next season of The Bear. What would I do if I won the lottery? I would probably start traveling more often. One of my bucket list goals for myself is to visit all 50 states in the US, but I would love to do some more international traveling as well. I actually do have a vacation planned in the end of September to go to Alaska, and that is one of my dream vacation spots, so I'm super excited to finally be able to go this year. But I definitely think traveling would be one of my main goals if I won the lottery. In my mind, I would also love to open a pet rescue, but that seems like it would be a lot of work and would probably be super sad at times, so maybe I'll just hold off on that idea for now. What is something I'd like to learn or try in the future? I guess I'll answer both parts of this question, but something I'd like to learn is a different language. My native language is English, and I'm also conversationally fluent in American Sign Language, but I would love to be fluent in another language. And something I'd like to try would be gouache painting. I've mainly painted with acrylics and sometimes watercolor, but I've seen some pretty cool paintings with gouache and I'd love to try it. Alright, here are a few Animal Crossing related questions. Who are my top 5 favorite villagers? My favorites are Cousteau, Scoot, Ruby, Bella, and Joey. Who are my top 5 least favorite villagers? All tied for first place, they are Chops, Limburg, Barreled, Hippo, and Moose. Who is my favorite NPC? Flick and Leaf are definitely tied for first place for NPCs. Also, I love Animal Crossing ranking videos. Listening to people talk trash about little cartoon animals is probably my favorite pastime activity, and I will admit I probably spent too many hours listening to Salem and Angry Coconuts gossip about villagers. I'll probably make some of these videos in the future. Maybe I'll make my next poll which villager personality to rank first, so stay tuned. What is my favorite Animal Crossing island theme? I am a sucker for all things abandoned and spooky. I think you can use some of the items super creatively in these themes, and it's kind of fun to see this game that's intended for children be turned into something abandoned or haunted. On the other hand, I do also love really super colorful Kidcore islands as well. My first ever completed island was actually a Kidcore jungle island, and I still love that island to this day. Who is my favorite ACNH creator? I would definitely say Nina Tries is my favorite creator. I don't know how she does it, but literally everything she makes in this game is absolutely amazing, and she is a huge source of inspiration for me, so definitely check her out. Do I collect anything? I actually love collecting things, but my most recent obsession has been Squishmallows. At the time of recording this, I currently have 218, which is way too many. I also have a pretty large collection of Animal Crossing amiibos, and I think I'm pretty close to having every single villager at this point. This transitions us nicely to my next question, which is, who are my top 5 favorite Squishmallows? My all-time favorite is Avery, and then I like Gordon, specifically the one where he wears goggles, and then Bertwin, Lobert, and Rutabaga, and I like both versions of Rutabaga, but I do like the one where she has little legs a little bit more. Also, I did ask AI for some interesting questions to ask to get to know someone, so I'll run through some of those now. Do I have any pets, and if so, what kind? I do have pets. I actually have 5. I have 3 cats and 2 dogs. My cats are Ninja, who is a big long-haired black and white cat that I've had since I was 15. Storm is an all-black cat that I've had since I was 16, I believe. And Gizmo is a white cat with black and gray spots that is going to be turning 4 this year, I think. My dogs are Izzy, who is actually named after Isabelle from Animal Crossing. We got her in April of 2020, so it was like right after New Horizons came out, and she is an all-black dog, and we believe that she's a Lab and Whippet mix. And then my baby Alfie, he is a 1.5 years old, and he is a Schnauzer mix, and I love him with my whole heart. What was my favorite subject in school? I think I would say science. I remember in 10th grade I actually took 3 science classes that year. It was chemistry, forensic science, and anatomy. And I think I like science the most because I find it the most interesting, and I tend to do better in the classes that I actually enjoy. And in nursing school, my favorite was pediatrics because at the time my career goal was to either become a pediatric oncology nurse practitioner or a pediatric CRNA. Neither of which have come true, but I still enjoyed the classes. What is my biggest fear? The one that I think I'm the most terrified of is a home invasion, and honestly I only have myself to blame for this one with my obsession with crime shows, especially Criminal Minds. Like, if I have to sleep in my house alone without my husband if he's traveling for work or something, I'm 100% sleeping with all the lights on in the house and hoping that my dogs will protect me if someone breaks in. I'm also pretty scared of bees and sharks. I'm allergic to bees and I just freak out involuntarily whenever they get close to me. And then for sharks, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a marine biologist for a while, and my favorite animal was actually sharks. But then I watched a lot of Discovery Channel and Shark Weeks, and that love slowly became a fear. What is an important life lesson that I've learned? I think knowing that you won't always be able to please everyone, so you might as well be yourself. For a long time, I feel like I didn't wear the things I liked or did my makeup a certain way because I cared too much about what other people thought of me, and it's something I'm still working on, but just being true to your authentic self will attract the right people in your life, and if someone doesn't like you for some dumb reason, it's not your job to make them like you. Literally just be yourself and do what makes you happy. As long as it's not harming yourself or others, it's completely fine. Just be yourself. For a less serious one, what is my favorite food? I love pasta, but I think my all-time favorite food is going to be beef stroganoff, but really any type of pasta I'm a huge fan of. Quickly talking about our build real quick, I've been continuing to line the pathing with our natural items like trees, shrubs, and flowers, and every once in a while I've been adding in a few mushroom, glowing moss, and vine items. I think adding in these glowing items is really giving off a magical vibe, and I'm really loving that. But also, I just wanted to mention when I built a pathway like this, I like to start close to the path with the smaller items, and then work my way outwards, slowly bringing in the bigger items and trees. That way it kind of gives a reverse bell curve shape along the pathway, and I think doing this makes it easier to see the path and gives an overall nice shape to the build. Also, I did decide to bring this pathing all the way up to the resident services building. And this spot is going to be where you walk out of the fence and go into the Rainbow Woodlands. So for this effect, I'm using 2 of the face cutout standees for the gate of the fence. I'm going to leave one facing forward and one turned to the side to look like the gate was left open. And then attached, I'll be adding some of the vertical board fencing, which is definitely one of my favorite types of fences in this game. But I think the Standee code is super cute, and I'll have this one and all the codes I've saved so far for this island linked in the description box below. To connect the entrance to our resident services, I'm going to start adding in some items and trees so that the forest part of our build comes all the way up to the fence. Also, a little off topic, but has anyone been watching Season 4 of Sabotage League? I'm recording this the day after the last games of Round 1, and it's been super interesting to watch. A lot of the matches actually turned out way differently than I was expecting, but sounds like they're trying to plan out the times for Round 2 already, and those will be very intense. I feel like everyone this season is taking it super seriously, like I know for sure Kato, Peyton, and May are getting really into it. Also, I love that this season has mini challenges. I feel like those are really what's deciding the winners of each round, and it's funny when you see a player picking up flowers or collecting rocks or something and the chat is just filled with questions about it, and the player's trying to be discreet and everyone's just like ruining them sneaking things. But I love watching everyone's technique in the game, and it's fun to see a player do something completely different from how you would have handled it, like which sabotages they re-rolled or which items they were collecting. But I guess it does feel completely different when you're actually in the game, just filled with adrenaline. But some people were out here re-rolling like 3 or 4 times, which was crazy to me. While I was building this area, I remembered that I want this island to only have one way in and out of resident surfaces, and so far I had completely blocked off all sides of our pathing. So I'm going in and removing some of the items in this area to the right to have a little pathway going to the right side of our island. And here's the build we created today. But that's the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. Before you leave, make sure to give the video a like, comment, and to subscribe to the channel. And if you watched till the end, let me know one fun fact about you. Bye, friends!